starting a new course master. Okay, so a new course master, this is the basic building blocks of a course master. So I'm just going to take you through them very briefly. We've pretty much already covered them, but I just want to be extra sure that we've got all the terminology correct, but nice and quick. So first of all, we're going to create a course category. Now we need to create also a course format, topics, and modules. And we're going to go through this in details shortly. We're going to create a course description. Course description describes the course that we've got. Workflow is often already set up, but we're going to have a course date workflow and a document workflow. That's the path. We're going to make sure we've got a topic form, and we're going to make sure total places and make completed are set up. Okay. So here we have, again, this diagram which shows us where the course masters are. Now to create a new course master, if you've already got them set up, I recommend you click on the duplicate, the add based on button, okay, which is that one there. That will allow you to create quickly a new course master. So let's first of all talk about course categories. So to get to course categories, we go to publish and then options. Okay, publish and then options. And we add a new, and we can edit existing. So you can add a new course category, or you can edit existing. And we talk about nesting categories as well. So it's ability to have one course category sitting within an existing course category. I'll show that shortly. And also there's a feature to include a name. So this might be something, for example, let's say if you were selling Microsoft courses, you might have an upper level category called Microsoft, and then below it, nested, you might say Word, Excel, Access, Office 360. You might have those sorts of things mentioned, and then by saying include a name, whenever that name is mentioned, it will say Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office 360. So you can see that you can use this include a name, so you don't have to keep repeating the upper level of the category. So we go to, so this is creating the course categories. We go publish and then options, and you can see here how we've got course categories, and we can click on view tree view. That's the fourth icon along, and that allows us to see the category tree view. You're back, Kane. Do you have a question? No, he doesn't. Obviously turned on his microphone by mistake. Oh, you're back again, Kane.
No, that was accident, Scott. Sorry, I'm doing two different things at once.
That's okay. No worries. Oh, good. Just mute yourself. That's good. No worries. Okay, it's better than being in the toilet and having the toilet flush anyway. So, oh, that's okay, Juliet. No worries. You missed out on the exciting test, but there'll be another one coming up shortly. Okay, so you haven't missed out on all the excitements. Okay, so moving on to adding or editing categories. So here we've got an example of where you can, if you click on the cog. So when you go into this area, so go into publish and options, you'll see a whole lot of cogs, little blue circles, little cogs on them. If you click on one within the course categories, you can add before this node, add after this node, or add a child. Now, this is a bit strange terminology. I think it's some techie thing, but a node is effectively one of the items in the set of options that you've got access to. And by adding before this node, you add before that record, or you can add after this node, which is after that record that's just listed there. But don't worry, even if you put it in the wrong place, you can use your mouse to click on the, click and hold on the cogs and move them up or down. So you can actually reorder them, which is pretty cool. And we don't list them in alphabetical order, we list them in the order that's on the option. So if you need to rearrange them to have the more popular courses at the top, that might not come up to the top because of some sort of, because it doesn't have a letter that's at the top, don't worry. You can just literally move the topics, move the items right up to the top into the order that you would like to have them listed. And you can, of course, add a child, which adds another nesting. So it's like a little tree, a little branch of what's being created. So that's editing or adding categories. Now, editing is pretty easy. You just click on the edit button, and the others, of course, are adding new categories. So here's an example of a category where we've got project management, and then under project management, we've got PRINCE2, which is a project management methodology. Then under that, we have a number of items that represent Prince2. And you can see in this case, we've got the N, which means include in name. And that's include in name. So what this means is whenever we go and use the short code in emails, let's say we say, thank you for registering on your blah course, it'll say Prince2 Intro e-learning course or Prince2 Foundation only. That's what that little N means, which is the include in name. And this is an example of a nested categories. Okay, now I want to actually show you this in the demonstration area. So I'm going to just get out of this, exit this this slide here. I'm going to go into the demonstration area. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them in the chat. Particularly if you find you're having difficulties with anything. I'm just going to show you where this is. So this might be helpful. Okay, so I'm going to click on the Publish tab here. Then I'm going to click on Options. And then I'm going to find course categories. There they are there. And I'm going to click on that tree view. And you can see here, I've got a list. Now I want to show you a couple of things. For example, if I wanted to group a few things together. So let's say I want to start grouping my leadership management courses. So I've got a couple there. I've got an advanced diploma and a diploma. So I'm going to create a new category and click on that little cog there. I'm going to add before this node. I'm going to type leadership. And I click on add. Now I've got leadership there. I'm going to drag these ones up. So click on the cog, drag them up. You can see there's a long line there. Drop that. Oops, I didn't actually drop it inside. It's easy to do. See, there's a little arrow there with a little green, another green arrow. Drop that in there, and now it's become a child of that. You see, so this is my way of rearranging how I've got these set up. I might create another one, for example. Let's create one after this node. I'm going to create one that says first aid. So in this case, I'm going to drag these down. You can see how it changes the look. There's a little tick beside where I've dragged, and also a little green arrow. Drag that in, and it becomes a child. Now it's very easy to accidentally drag it down, and you see there's a longer line there. I'm not sure if you can spot that. There's a longer line there. It's just going to go above first aid. Not actually going to go within first aid. So if I open it up and then drag it in and make sure it's the longer line within that sort of group of training courses, then it'll go in there perfectly well. And I can rearrange these to be in a different order. So I might want, for example, them to be in numerical order. I can do that there. Everyone see how that's done? Anyone giving that a go and having difficulty? How are you going there, Stacey? I can see your hands up, Stacey. Maybe that's up from earlier. But let me know if your hand up means you've got a question. Otherwise, feel free to put your hand down. Quite happy to take questions or okay, no problem. Okay, so if you're all happy with that, what I'll do is I'll just show you something else too, which is the include in name. This is the include in name checkbox. So if I tick that, which now means that first aid will come before any mention. So it might not be relevant here because it's first aid, HLT, AIG 001, blah, blah, blah. That's how that would come out. You see you've got a little N there. This is just a nice way of keeping things tidy. And it also will display, if you're using the WordPress plugin, it'll include these names in them too, which gives a little bit of guidance to the customer when they're searching for courses. Okay, so I've got a question here. Do you want to create another course category or child for courses that will be online? It really depends. If you want to clearly indicate to students that they're purchasing an online course, then you could have it as a completely separate category. It helps to distinguish between your face-to-face training. So you can have the same, but the other thing too is you may want to have all of your courses come up together. So when someone searches, say, for a first aid training course, an HLT AID 004, for example, one for childcare, you might want your online courses and your face-to-face training to come up in the same listing. In that case, you would keep the same course category, but you can change the format. And so on the format, you can describe it as being an online course or a face-to-face delivery in the training room. And that means that just allows your customers to see that they've got choices. It also allows them to see there's a reason for any price differences, or the reason for any sort of different formats. So it kind of depends on what you want to achieve. I think, Stacey, in your instance, what I understand, you'd probably be best keeping the same course categories, but then changing the formats.